Welcome back to Ace Attorney Anime Review, episode number 25. This time I'm reviewing the 48th, I believe it's 48, no, 47th episode of the anime, Bridge to Turnabout, The Last Trial. Which is, believe it or not, the final episode of Season 2. Yep. Yes. Okay. Yeah, the final episode after 23 episodes, make it one episode shorter than last season. Though, could say it's about the same length as last season due to one episode. One of these episodes being an hour long, basically two episodes combined into one. And some of the animation didn't exactly split this two episodes, basically make it the same amount as last season. With this episode, we actually wrap up the whole case involving who killed Misty Faye. Yeah, Maya, of course, was hinting at it, that somebody else was a he who killed Misty Faye, and it is revealed that Godot, aka Diego Armando, killed Misty Faye. It's revealed, basically, Phoenix outs him as Diego, and of course the murderer. He finds out, basically his proof is the fact that the dagger that was recovered, that was technically not the murder weapon, but it was a weapon that Misty Faye used when she was channeling Dahlia Hopper, which somehow transferred to Maya. That still wasn't explained in this episode. They kind of changed it. It's particularly very bizarre. Yeah. So Godot gets basically stabbed just beneath his mask. As for where beneath his mask, no idea. He's asked to remove it, but he declines. Says not really necessary. He admits to it right away. And yeah, and the whole thing about him, and they even point out to a previous case, which was the second case featuring the character Maggie, which was the second time that Phoenix defended her. Yeah, basically how he missed a stain on the apron, which was a ketchup stain, and how he missed the blood stain on the white. He basically can't see red on white. It's particularly a very odd side effect of somebody being poisoned. Yep. And then eventually, after, of course, Iris basically tells Phoenix that the whole time that he was in a relationship with Dahlia, it was actually her the whole time. The whole kindness that basically he knew of Dahlia was actually her. And he pointed out that she only met her 2 times prior to the case. Well, at first was the actual meeting, these two, the other course was when the character Doug was killed back in that flashback episode. Yep. Which was Mia Faye's second case. Yep. And the whole rest of the time in their relationship, it was all her. And the fact that she had developed actual feelings for him. And it looks like, though, he actually sort of forgave. From what I can tell, he did forgive her for what happened. He hasn't forgotten about it per se, but at least he's forgiven her for it. It's unknown if he's actually had feelings for her. It's completely unknown. But it's known that Iris has feelings for him, but unknown if Phoenix has feelings for Iris. And after Iris is pronounced not guilty, she's not seen in the ending of the episode, which I'm like, that's a little bizarre. I'm like, this is a woman who just pronounced not guilty, and there's no epilogue to her at all. Yeah, I mean, she's not in the defendant's room basically thanking Phoenix for getting off the hook. No, she just basically says her piece, and then she's never seen the rest of the episode, which I'm like, that's a little odd. Yeah, then, of course, you have Phoenix basically reunited Maya, and then, of course, you have Miles show up, and then Larry, and then Dick Gumshoe, and then Francesca shows up, and then eventually Pearl shows up too, covered in curry. Yeah, what she was doing, she was cleaning up the mess on the portrait of Misty Faye, which you know Misty Faye is a little bit later. Which is doing, of course, a photo of everybody together, being good friends, and then after the credits, we have sort of Miles back in the regular courtroom, and it's like everything's like back to business, and they're about to start, and that's basically where the episode ends. Yeah, good episode. I got handed to that one. Yeah, overall, this was actually a pretty damn good season. All the cases they feature this entire season, except for one, are actually not from the video game. Yeah, the only cases, there are actually 2 of them. There are 2 technically filler cases. One, of course, is a flashback episode, which is kind of full up to the last season's flashback episode. Pretty much what Miles will happen to him after the flashback from last season, basically him falling like a kidnapped dog, whatever. That's one of them. The other, of course, is the case involving a train. This case, as far as I can tell, is original to the show and not from the video games. Yeah, I looked up. It's not from the video games. It's completely original, but it's a good case. The only problem I had with the King was the fact that, well, they never checked for gunshot residue in the man's hands. Yeah, but yeah, this is of course my final thoughts of the season. Yeah, each case told really well. Interesting about the character Maggie for this season because, well, last season he got her off the hook, and I mean, it was definitely shown in the second time showed up that, well, definitely tell that Dick Gumshoe has feelings for Maggie, but apparently she won't accept him for some reason. Either she doesn't, I don't know if she has feelings for him or whatever. It's like they're trying to develop this, but after the two appearances, my guess is they just completely forgot about the character. Yep. Let's see. Larry Butts does show up occasionally throughout the whole season, though I should point out in last week's episode was the first time the entire season, with the exception of the flashback episode, that Dick Gumshoe didn't show up at all, which I thought was very bizarre. I mean, you have a character like Dick Gumshoe, and throughout this whole case, with the exception of the opening episode and this one and one other episode, Dick Gumshoe didn't much anything at all. I mean, I kind of like it when he was basically active in that case with Maggie. We actually protected Phoenix from that loan shark, who was the actual murderer in that particular case, and had his own and where his girlfriend turned against him. Mm-hmm. Yep. This overall was a fantastic season. I mean, it's probably had some minor hiccups, but at least it was a good season overall. And it's great though they that for the case this particular case, the 7-parter, this was set up thanks to the previous 3 episodes. The hour-long special of Phoenix's first time he meets Mia Fey, and of course the following episode being Mia's first case. And this episode kind of exploring exactly what happened after that first case. Yeah, it's showing the flashback exactly what happened to Mia, where she basically just go over the case notes over the course of the past year, up until Diego met up with Dahlia and she got poisoned, and that's what led into that. That's the whole point of that flashback, just basically fill in the gap between Mia's first case and her second case. It doesn't necessarily show exactly like what happened with her, like in between that second case and up until Phoenix's first official murder case. Yeah, we don't get a chance to explore that at all. Yeah. And it's still completely unknown if there's going to be a third season or not. I hope there is, because Cloverworks, the studio who did this season, did a fantastic job with this season. Yeah, I was surprised though the fact that the show changed studios. I don't know why. It's bizarre. Though this studio is also noteworthy for being one of the studios to do Fairy Tail. One of like 3 who do Fairy Tail. It's something though, it takes 3 studios to do one anime. Okay, I don't know why. Because last season was A1 Pictures. This season it's Cloverworks, but it's still the same. It's still the same dub cast. Eric Vale did a fantastic job as Phoenix Wright. Colin Clickenbeard as Mia Fey. I do have one disappointing thing about the season: the lack of use of Mia Fey. I mean, she's used very sparingly in a lot of the episodes, with the exception of 2 episodes that basically feature prominently. The first half of the season, a lot of times she shows up for a quick little cameo, like, "Hey, I'm here," and that's it. I'm sure Colin Clickenbeard probably felt very frustrated at seeing her character not being used very much. But the season pretty much wrapped up, like, as of right now. The only series she's worried about doing dubs for is One Piece, Black Clover, I think My Hero Academia, and I think that's it. Yeah, roughly about 3. Oh, and Fairy Tail. Yeah, so roughly about 4 shows. The Fairy Tales are going to wrap up at the end of the year, but yeah. So who knows exactly what shows they're going to do next, but she's one fantastic dub actor. For Eric Vale, this is one of a handful of shows I've seen him do. I mean, I love the character Phoenix Wright. I think Eric Vale did a fantastic job with this character. Though in the case of the other characters, the other actors, I'm not all that familiar with them. They're English dub actors, but yeah, and I love the fact formation where they come to these particular cases is that for these one-shot case characters who appear for this one case only, don't appear again. I love the fact they actually use the regular dub actors to do these characters. Like in the case of last season, you had a couple characters, one voiced by Christopher Sabant, another one who was voiced by Sonny Surratt. Yeah. Otherwise, though, that's really it for this particular review. My next video, Comic Corner. Yep, Comic Corner. And then a movie review. And then I'm heading back, after I get the 3 videos up, I'm going to do Case Closed. Or I'm going to finish the last 4 episodes of the season. And then after that, I'm going to do one more movie review, and that will be it for today. Okay? But see you in the next video. Bye.